Tonight, the U.S. ambassador to Canada stirring things up.
There are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with.
Interpreting the reason why his president may have called Canadians nasty in the past.
If you're a mean and nasty Canadian for standing up for our sovereignty and our economy and our jobs, well, I think most Canadians would be proud to be considered mean and nasty.
Prompting one Canadian premier to suggest the pushback from Canada is having an impact. With a plan to shave the federal government budget and the potential for drastic cuts.
Our members heard this announcement in the media. They didn't hear it from their department heads.
The country's biggest public service union is holding an emergency town hall this evening. And 1 year after the Ottawa police open a hub in the Rideau Centre,
don't feel safe. I don't stay down very long. I do what I have to do and head out.
Has it made a difference in the ByWard Market and surrounding area? Good evening. We begin tonight with focus once again on the U.S. president's previous referrals to Canadians as nasty. Amid the trade war, the U.S. ambassador to this country provoking strong reaction here after suggesting at a conference in the States the reasons Donald Trump views Canadians as mean and nasty to deal with is because many residents are boycotting U.S. travel and American booze is still off the shelves. What some would call pushback. CTV's Katie Griffin has been following this story and joins us live. Katie.
Patricia, BC Premier David Eby, whose office received the audio of these comments, says the remarks show these efforts to stand up to Trump are having an impact. Many in Ottawa say Trump's rhetoric just strengthens their resolve to buy Canadian and boycott travel down south.
We have Genevieve here out of Montreal.
At Maker House, the push to buy Canadian is as strong as ever.
We're up still double last year this past week. So even after Canada Day, the push to buy Canadian is sustaining. The current upswing is more people finding the value in keeping their money in their community.
That's what drew this couple in. They're visiting from Cambridge, Ontario.
We usually like taking trips to the States because there was so much to do, so much to see. But now we've been finding that going to places around Canada is a lot better. We just really like supporting, Canada right now. And so we've been avoiding the States for the moment.
Trade tensions heightened after U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra said this at a conference in Washington State.
Canadians staying home, that's their business. I don't like it, but if that's what they want to do, it's fine. You want to ban American alcohol, that's fine. There are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with. Okay, because of some of those steps.
I think Trump is Trump, and we listen to him, and then we just let one thing, what he says, go through 1 year and out the other.
I don't know. I just feel if he's calling us nasty, it's projection. That seems to be a bit of his playbook, constantly throwing names and calling names and whatnot.
As negotiations continue between Canada and the U.S., Ontario's premier says Canada needs to match President Donald Trump's tariffs dollar for dollar.
There's one thing President Trump understands, is strength. He doesn't understand or appreciate weakness. He will roll over us like a cement roller if you show an ounce of weakness.
As the trade war drags on, for many Canadians, the choice is easy.
We've decided we're not going to be traveling to the U.S. for a good little while, and we're buying as many Canadian products as we can.
We have to respect our country, to respect ourselves, and there's no way that we're going to spend money in the United States, for probably many years to come.
A U.S. Embassy spokesperson also said the ambassador had expressed optimism about the relationship between our two countries. So whether this impacts negotiations and where we go from here, it's anyone's guess. Patricia?
With a trade deadline looming, it has been a guessing game all along, hasn't it? CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thanks so much. Well, as fewer people travel over the Canada-U.S. border, duty-free shops say they are struggling and are calling on the federal government to help. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has that story from Lansdowne, Ontario.
The Thousand Islands duty-free store has been owned by the Butler family for 3 generations.
My father started with my mother in 1987. He's since passed away. I operate it with my mother now. But yeah, certainly it's a family business. And, you know, we've got staff members who have been with us 35 years.
But right now, things are difficult for the shop that sits at the Lansdowne, Ontario border crossing as Canadians forego traveling to the U.S.
It's an overall sales drop of about 30% at our store. And that's versus last year. We're down still about 40% to pre-COVID times because we hadn't fully recovered.
Statistics show there were 15,000 fewer trips from Lansdowne to Alexandria Bay, New York in June compared to 2024.
It's difficult. You know, I mean, we got hit with COVID. We didn't have an ability to pivot during COVID. We don't have an ability to pivot now, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Regulations for duty-free stores mean that they can only sell to those traveling internationally. The Frontier Duty Free Association is hoping to see changes.
Asking for any help we can get. What would help right now would be for the government to remove any red tape on our industry, any tax, a business tax on goods that our U.S. competition doesn't face, any policy that impedes competition.
The association represents 32 stores across the country and is warning 1/3 of their members could face closures if the trend continues.
It is very serious. We have been sounding the alarms. This is a viable industry. It's caught in a cycle of no fault of their own.
Butler says he understands people's desire to keep their money in Canada and is hoping that there can be help for small businesses like his.
We need that, a little bit of support to get there.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News, Lansdowne.
Well, the Premier sat down with Prime Minister Mark Carney today to discuss the ongoing trade negotiations with the U.S., but there are 2 sides to any deal, and Carney made it clear that provinces and territories need to do what they can at home. CTV's Rachel Ayala reports.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was in good spirits as he arrived on scene for today's talks, but quickly he got down to business.
We are looking for the best deal for Canada. We are only going to accept the best deal for Canada.
Premiers came in saying they wanted clarity on whether the 2 countries are on track towards a new trade pact by U.S. President Donald Trump's August 1st deadline, and came out indicating they care less about when a deal is reached, rather what is in it.
It sounds like we're making some progress, making sure that we get the best deal and not just the deal available.
I would be worried that if we constrain ourselves that we have to get a deal by a certain date, that we maybe have to, maybe do some things or give up some things.
Carney met behind closed doors with provincial and territorial leaders for more than 2 hours, telling them that he and senior federal officials are engaged in continuous discussions with the Americans. But the Prime Minister offered no assurances that a good deal for Canada will be reached in the next 10 days, or whether the country is ready to retaliate with counter tariffs.
We'll take stock if there isn't one that works. A good deal is something that preserves, reinforces, and stabilizes those relationships as much as possible. A good deal is also one that doesn't tie our hands.
Premiers then took part in a strategy session with former ambassadors to the U.S. about next steps.
There's one thing we can thank President Trump for, is getting us moving, getting us united like I've never seen before.
The Prime Minister and Premiers also discussed ways to build new trade relationships with trusted partners other than the U.S., as well as ways to support affected industries should tariffs linger. Rachel Ayala, CTV News, Huntsville, Ontario.
Well, breaking news tonight, the music world is reeling at word of the death of Ozzy Osbourne. The heavy metal icon known as the Prince of Darkness passed away at the age of 76. CTV's Heather Wright takes us back over the life of the extraordinary performer.
The godfather of heavy metal, the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy Osbourne was a showman, a singer, and later a reality TV star who rose to fame in the 1970s as the frontman of Black Sabbath. Known for his iconic wail, Osbourne was an icon of the heavy metal genre he helped pioneer. Today, the Osbourne family said in a statement, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England, Osbourne recorded more than half a dozen albums with Black Sabbath, including hits like Paranoid and War Pigs. But by 1979, his struggles with substance abuse were so severe, he was fired by the band. Mama, I'm coming home. Osbourne went on to have a successful solo career and was later inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, with both Black Sabbath and as a solo artist. Both beloved and controversial, Osbourne once bit off the head of a bat while on stage and was arrested for trying to strangle his wife while drunk. He later reconciled with his wife Sharon and became a reality TV dad to a whole new generation in the show The Osbournes, along with 2 of his 5 children, Jack and Kelly. In 2020, Osbourne announced he had Parkinson's disease and despite his health challenges, tried many times to return to the stage. Just weeks ago, he performed from a black throne on stage with Black Sabbath in his hometown of Birmingham. It was his first show in 20 years with the original band members, and it would be the last of his legendary life. Heather Wright, CTV News.
Still ahead, if ever you wanted to jump on the Blue Jays bandwagon or jump on the 401, this might be the year. More on the baseball team's historic streak coming up. Well, here's a live look now through our Centennial Glass sky cam. Just a gorgeous day in the capital. 23 degrees. Again, we didn't quite get to that high of 24 today, but a little warmer than yesterday. It'll be warmer again tomorrow. We have clear skies tonight, and we have lots of sunshine on the way, mainly sunny tomorrow. More sunshine on Thursday, and much, much hotter by Thursday. At 8 p.m. tonight, we'll see 20 degrees. You'll wake up to sunshine and 14. By the noon hour, we should hit 23. And our daytime high tomorrow anticipated to be a picture-perfect 28 degrees. Well, this just into our newsroom. A cyclist is being treated for life-threatening injuries after being struck by a vehicle in Stittsville. Paramedics say it happened on Sweetenham Drive near Henry Douglas Drive shortly before 5 p.m. A woman was transported to hospital in critical condition. Ottawa police remain on the scene. The largest federal public sector union is holding emergency town hall meetings this week to discuss the federal government's quest to find $25 billion in savings. This comes after cabinet ministers were told to develop savings plans of 15% over the next 3 years. CTV's Austin Lee is following this story for us this evening and joins us live. Austin.
Now, Patricia, the Public Service Alliance of Canada is holding virtual town hall meetings tonight and tomorrow night to discuss how the cuts could impact workers and what the union can do to fight back. Cabinet ministers have been directed to find 7.5% savings for 2026-27, followed by 10% savings in 2027-28 and 15% the year after that. And the goal is to find long-term savings. The Public Service Alliance of Canada says the plan is putting thousands of jobs and the services Canadians rely on at risk. Tonight's meeting will outline the union's next steps and hear concerns from members.
Well, tonight's about the fact that our members heard this announcement in the media. They didn't hear it from their department heads. They heard it in the media, which impacted their mental health. And what we want to do is reach out and have a conversation with them, find out what's happening in their workplaces, how are they affected, and let them know what their rights are.
Meantime, the Professional Institute of Public Service of Canada is accusing the Liberal government of breaking their first promise to federal public servants. That union says Prime Minister Mark Carney ran on a promise of caps, not cuts, but warns the spending reductions could result in what they call deep and dangerous cuts. Now, the size of the federal public service dropped by 9,800 jobs over the past year. The PSAC says nearly 2,000 of its members will be impacted by workforce adjustments this year. And the union town hall meetings for its members are, again, tonight and tomorrow night. Patricia.
CTV's Austin Lee live for us tonight. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the federal government's plan to cut spending. You can download the CTV News app right now. Just scan that QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Well, Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre is calling on the federal government to pass a law to end what he calls the longest ballot scam. Poilievre is running in the upcoming election in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot, hoping to win a seat in the House of Commons. There are currently 152 names on the ballot, with many linked to the electoral reform advocacy group, the Longest Ballot Committee. Poilievre says the group is not democracy in action and calls it an attempt to manipulate the rules and confuse voters. Well, calls for increased safety inside Ottawa's ByWard Market were answered a year ago with the addition of a new police hub at the Rideau Centre. But has it made a difference for those who live, work and vacation in one of the city's most popular spots? CTV's Tyler Fleming joins us with more on this. Tyler.
Yeah, Patricia, the short answer is yes. Police do make people feel safer, but without long-term solutions for Ottawa's most vulnerable, many say it's only a start.
I'll make it to the Rideau in one piece.
Walking through the ByWard Market, it's not Susan Kenning's favorite place to be.
Don't feel safe. I don't stay down very long. I do what I have to do and head out.
She's not alone, and those concerns helped lead to a new police hub at the Rideau Centre. It's 1 year later, so is it working?
Pretty safe, yeah. Really good, yeah.
It was necessary, and it's a good thing.
At La Bottega, owner Pat Nicastro says the increased police presence and foot patrols have made a difference.
People like to see them, visitors like to see them. They're friendly, they get asked, they get stopped, they get asked questions. If there's an issue, they're close by. And that's what the businesses want to see.
Yeah, I believe it's cleaned it up a bit, yes, but I'm still nervous.
Many here say more vulnerable people are coming to the market.
We've been promoting the fact that if you help the homeless or the vulnerable population first, you help everyone.
The Lowertown Community Association says it has long partnered with police, the city, and other community groups to build lasting solutions.
They need short-term housing outside of the city core with support services. So whatever we do here in downtown, Lowertown, the ByWard Market, we need to help deliver social services better.
For now, as summer peaks with millions visiting the market, police presence is a welcome sight.
We're happy. There's people down here, and there's lots of tourists. Things are good.
I don't think people would bring children around if it wasn't safe, right?
Now, the ByWard Market District Association says pre-pandemic levels of foot traffic have returned with more than 22 million visits this past year. And while challenges do remain, many are hopeful the market's vibrancy continues to flourish. Patricia.
CTV's Tyler Fleming live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, $4 million worth of cocaine has been seized in the largest drug bust in Gatineau history. Police say a Gatineau man was arrested while driving in Montreal on July 9th, and police found nearly 40 kilos of cocaine. Following the arrest, police executed search warrants at 5 locations in Gatineau. The 26-year-old man from Gatineau is facing several charges, including drug trafficking. A total of 5 people have been arrested. Well, police in New York State say the 9-year-old girl from Montreal, whose body was discovered over the weekend, died from asphyxia due to drowning. Melina's father, Luciano, is facing charges of second-degree murder and concealment of a human corpse in connection with her death. Police say Melina's body was found Sunday about 50 kilometers northeast of Lake George, near the New York-Vermont boundary. An Ottawa driver is facing a minimum $2,000 fine after being caught driving hours after receiving a court-ordered suspension. Ontario Provincial Police say an automated license plate recognition camera notified an officer of a suspended driver on Highway 417 on Monday. Police said the driver had been suspended from driving in the morning. The driver told police he thought he could drive the car home. Meantime, police say a 28-year-old man is facing charges after he crashed his car while racing another vehicle in Ottawa's East End. Police received a call shortly after 7 p.m. Sunday about a vehicle that crashed on Highway 417 near Innes Road. Police say the driver had been consuming alcohol and registered more than twice the legal limit. A 48-year-old man is facing charges for allegedly assaulting a bylaw officer in Brockville. Police say the officer approached a man in the area of the library last Friday after he parked in an accessible parking space without a permit. Police say the man screamed in the bylaw officer's face and pushed him, knocking his phone out of his hand after attempting to record the interaction. The man was arrested a short time later. The bylaw officer was not seriously injured. Well, Ottawa's Gabby Dabrowski has accomplished many things on the tennis court, and now she will receive a key to this city. The city announcing today Mayor Mark Sutcliffe will award Ottawa's highest honor to Dabrowski on Thursday. Dabrowski won bronze in mixed doubles at the Paris Olympics. The tennis courts in Russell Boyd Park have been named in honor of Dabrowski.
Pretty crazy. It was my first time seeing it live, so they are playing really good baseball right now.
Well, the Blue Jays soaring in Toronto, the latest on Canada's team push for the playoffs on a record-winning streak. As we take a live look now through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Speaking of blue, just a beautiful evening, blue sky. It is moderate temperatures out there for all of you who love that. 23 degrees in Ottawa this evening. We'll be back in a moment. Ottawa is my home, and like many of you, I've always turned to CTV News for the latest local news. We cover the local stories that matter to you.
Live, local, breaking CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
Well, Mother Nature will cooperate tonight if you want to see the Northern Lights. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the Northern Lights will be visible tonight and tomorrow night in Ottawa and throughout Eastern Ontario. Well, the red-hot Toronto Blue Jays have set a new franchise record with their 11th straight win at home. The Jays winning Game 1 of a 3-game series with the New York Yankees last night. CTV's John Musselman has more on the Jays' historic run.
And this is hooked to left field, and it's into the corner.
The Jays were down early, but in the bottom of the 5th inning, they took the lead over the Yankees, scoring 4 runs, and they never looked back.
The Jays, this is probably the best team that they've had since 2015.
Pretty crazy. It was my first time seeing it live, so they are playing really good baseball right now. Defense is clicking, offense is clicking.
The Blue Jays have won 10 straight home games, tying a franchise record set in 1985. They broke that record with win number 11 in a row at home.
We're going to win the World Series. Really? Goddamn right.
But it was so good. They did so amazing.
What do you like about this team?
I
love all their sportsmanship, and they're such a great team.
The Jays' home game winning streak started at the end of June when they swept the Yankees. The team is surprising many with their inspired winning play.
So it's a bunch of the veterans who are doing better than we expected, especially Springer, and then just unexpected surprises throughout the roster.
Still, this Yankee fan isn't sure the Jays will be a factor come October.
I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I hope they do, but I honestly don't think they can do it. But hey, what do I know? This is baseball.
John Musselman, CTV News.
Pretty cool and pretty good baseball weather here in Ottawa today. Another sunny but cooler day in the capital. Really nice day to get outside at Remick Rapids as the temperature warmed up to 23 degrees today. But don't worry, the hot weather will return starting tomorrow as we take a full look at your forecast here tonight. So here's how things look out there. Clear skies. It is beautiful. We'll have mostly clear conditions through the day tomorrow. Just a little bit of cloud cover, and Thursday almost none as it gets really hot. As we take a look at your cross-Canada picture, not everyone getting that kind of weather. It's pretty cool today in St. John's at 9 degrees, 20 in Charlottetown with lots of sunshine, and in Halifax, similar conditions, 23 in Fredericton. Moving into Quebec, 22 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud there. In Toronto today, 24 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, as the Jays are the hottest thing about that town right now. 26 degrees and sunny in Windsor. And out west, a mix of temperatures. 23 degrees in Regina, but check out Calgary, just 10 degrees today with a mix of sun and cloud. A little warmer in Edmonton at 17. Beautiful day in Vancouver at 22 degrees. Taking a look at the sleeping weather tonight, still good, still cooling off dramatically. It was a pretty cool morning today, and you'll get a fairly cool start to the day tomorrow as well before things warm up. So 11 degrees overnight in Ottawa, Cornwall, and Brockville, a little warmer in Kingston, cooler in Bancroft, Trenton down on the water, very similar to Kingston. Kittigan-Zibi will be a cool overnight low of just 9 degrees, the same in Maniwaki, Mont-Tremblant. Even slightly cooler than that. Montreal holding on to a little more warmth, and Gatineau similar to Ottawa at 11 degrees, as is Petawawa and Kemptville. Tomorrow's highs look really good. Back to real July weather, sunshine and 29 here in Ottawa. Just slightly cooler elsewhere in the region, but everyone up into the upper 20s and seeing mostly sunshine tomorrow with just a few clouds. So some warm weather with even hotter weather to come as we take a look at your 7-day forecast, brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. So typical July tomorrow, above normal temperatures on Thursday. 33 degrees in the sunshine. We get back into the upper 20s for Friday and Saturday. A chance of some showers on Friday. A good-looking weekend if you are cottaging or camping or out on the deck. Sunny on Saturday and a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. Very warm both days. Well, two of the best hotel-restaurant combinations in Canada are right here in Ottawa. Open Table has released a list of the top 50 hotel restaurants in Canada. That list includes the Shore Club, located in Ottawa's Westin Hotel. Open Table notes the Shore Club features the freshest seafood and tender steaks served in surroundings of understated luxury. Also on the list is Zoe's in the Fairmont Chateau Laurier. The website says Zoe's is the capital's social place for drinks, dining, and other delights. Well, with a look ahead now to CTV National News, here's Anne-Marie Meadowake.
Thanks, Patricia. Coming up tonight, mourning the loss of heavy metal legend Ozzy Osbourne. Remembering the complex legacy of a music pioneer and his farewell performance. Later on CTV National News. Back to you, Patricia.
All right, thank you, Anne-Marie. Ottawa Chamber Fest hits the right note at the National Arts Centre today. Details on the Chamber Music Festival just ahead.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, CTV Morning Live, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business. CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
A last call could soon be a little later in Vancouver. A new report recommends extending alcohol service hours in that city until 3 a.m. CTV's Craig Krause tells us how the residents and business owners there are responding.
Last call, make it an extension in Vancouver.
We fought really hard against No Fun City for a long time.
A fight nearing the last round as the city considers changes to its liquor service hours.
What it does help with is any positive change brings about other positive changes. So if we're moving forward in updating our regulations to be more modern and in tune with the rest of the world, then I think that's fantastic.
Bars in the downtown peninsula will be allowed to serve until 3 a.m., while those outside of downtown will be allowed to stay open until 3 a.m. on weekends and 2 on weekdays.
I support it. You know, it's been a long time coming.
A step in the right direction for many and applauded by the industry.
We have tough economic conditions right now, high interest rates. People are cutting back on eating out and going out. So anything we can do to support those small businesses and also help make our city more vibrant in the year right before FIFA.
While great for business, a professor at the Canadian Institute of Substance Use at UVic says there are dangers involved.
It's a particularly precarious time for violent incidents to occur. Dozens and dozens of published reports from cities all over the world showing that physical and sexual violence increases when trading hours go up.
The city says the VPD and Vancouver Coastal Health were consulted along with many in the hospitality sector. If run properly, Duprice says he's not worried.
It's going to be the same clientele that's in there at 2 in the morning that just wants to be there till 3. So that is completely insane that somebody would offer that up, and I totally disagree with it.
If approved on Tuesday, staff will be monitoring the rollout, and if there are any problems, rules may be adjusted and/or additional security measures could be added to help ensure safety. Craig Krause, CTV News, Vancouver.
In tonight's big picture, the Earth is spinning a little faster than normal, which means today is a little shorter. Today could be anywhere from 1.25 to 1.34 milliseconds shorter than 24 hours. July 10th was the shortest day of the year so far at 1.36 milliseconds less than 24 hours. The reason why is because the Earth is apparently spinning a little faster than usual. Scientists say it happens from time to time, and every time it does, it raises the possibility of a negative leap second. That means taking a second off the world's official time standard. Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. OC Transpo hit the right notes for fans during Ottawa Blues Fest. The transit service estimates 650,000 customer trips were recorded on O Train Line 1 during the 9 nights of music at LeBreton Flats. Another 87,000 customer trips were recorded on O Train Line 2. The busiest day was July 18th, with Green Day headlining the festival, with 110,000 customer trips on the 2 rail lines that day. Now, free transit was included with tickets for Ottawa Blues Fest. Commuters will have to wait a little longer to board the north-south LRT line during the evenings this week. OC Transpo says O Train Line 2 will be running every 24 minutes after 8 p.m. while equipment is installed near South Keys stations. Service will be reduced during the evenings until Friday and again next Monday to Friday. The sounds of chamber music will fill several buildings in Ottawa throughout the week. This was the Bring the Kids Aorama Wind Quintet performance at the National Arts Centre this afternoon as part of Ottawa Chamber Fest. The festival runs until July 29th. For tickets and that schedule, visit chamberfest.com. Well, Coca-Cola plans to introduce a version of its namesake cola made with cane sugar this fall. Coke has used high fructose corn syrup to sweeten the beverage in the U.S. since the 1980s, while it still uses cane sugar in other markets. The new beverage with cane sugar will carry the Coke name. And you can once again go for a swim at Leamy Lake Park Beach in Gatineau. The National Capital Commission issued a no swimming advisory last Tuesday after a possible spill was detected in the water. The NCC says water quality has improved and the beach is once again safe for swimming. Lifeguards are on duty daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
We had just installed this brand spanking new door, and it wasn't working.
Well, still to come, a $1 million door is opening up an Ontario municipality to criticism.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boll.
Well, taking a look at the Queensway on your drive home, what we're seeing right now is fairly moderate traffic heading westbound, not overly heavy. Eastbound is a bit more difficult. Parkdale, Carling, some of the usual spots really slowing down for people there. Well, the municipality of Durham has opened the door to a whole lot of criticism. A brand new revolving door looks great, but the $1 million price tag is raising plenty of eyebrows. CTV's Scott Lightfoot reports.
For Regional Councillor Chris Leahy, it was the caution tape that piqued his curiosity.
We had just installed this brand spanking new door, and it wasn't working.
A brand new revolving door at the main entrance of the Regional Municipality of Durham headquarters in Whitby. Why it wasn't working was one question he had for staff. The other was how much it cost.
And then that's when the information came out that the cost was about $1 million.
In a statement, the region said the building's existing sliding door system was reaching the end of its 20-year life expectancy. The doors were a constant source of energy loss during extreme temperatures and presented health and safety concerns in a high-traffic area. Leahy says the new entry is all part of a building-wide upgrade, but he wants to know how something as simple as a door could end up costing almost $1 million.
It should not cost $1 million to put in a revolving door.
He's not the only one questioning the cost of the door.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Residents we spoke to also had concerns.
You're kidding, right?
Not kidding.
What's it made of, gold?
Officials with the region say $403,000 was taken from federal infrastructure funding. $249,000 was from an existing capital maintenance project. And there was also $249,000 in additional financing, putting the total budgeted amount for the new entrance at $901,000.
If they're going to spend $1 million on this door, how much are they going to spend on the rest of the renovations in this particular building? Like, there's been extensive renovations over the last several years, so that's part of my investigation over the last several months.
Leahy now wants the region to undertake a value-for-money audit of the entire upgrade project to ensure Durham taxpayers are getting their money's worth. Leahy says he hopes to get more information from the Finance Committee when it meets next in September. The door is actually behind some fencing and construction hoarding here. Workers tell us that's not actually about the door. They're doing some work outside of the building, and they're doing their best to protect this very expensive entrance. Scott Lightfoot, CTV News, Whitby.
Well, U.S. stocks hit yet another record today as Washington signaled progress in trade talks. BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell brings us the latest in business.
Hello there. America's broad S&P 500 stock index hit a new record high. That's after the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, said that he'll meet next week in Stockholm with his Chinese counterparts as they embark on a third round of talks aimed at extending a tariff truce. The Treasury chief told Bloomberg that, quote, trade is in a very good place with China. Yields on U.S. bonds fell, which often indicates that investors are less nervous about inflation. But there are clouds on the tariff front. Reuters said the European Union is exploring a broader set of countermeasures against the U.S. as prospects faded for an acceptable agreement. Toronto stocks rose, but they were still just down from Thursday's record high. Heavily weighted Shopify declined. It was cut to hold by an analyst at Loop Capital who said the shares look richly priced at around 15 times revenue. On the markets, the Canadian dollar was strong. It changed hands at 73.5 US cents, up about 0.4 of a cent. West Texas Intermediate oil traded at $65.31, down 64 cents. Our latest fix on Western Canadian Select oil has it at $53.60, up 21 cents. And the TSX finished at 27,364.43, up just under 47 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
If you've been stabilized, you have chronic pain, you found medications that are working for you, then all of a sudden you come to the pharmacy and say we have none.
Well, coming up, a national shortage of a common painkiller is forcing pharmacies to ration their supplies to customers. A new online platform is offering assistance to survivors of domestic abuse. It includes access to wide-ranging support services. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has more.
Ellen Campbell is a childhood sexual abuse survivor and the founder of Abuse Hurts.
Today, it just hit me today that, oh my gosh, this is what I needed 30 years ago.
She was speaking about a new online platform called Empower Web, being launched by Abuse Hurts, an Ontario-wide organization.
It started just to be around prevention and awareness, but now we provide support, for instance, products for people leaving abusive situations or starting over, housewares, toiletries, men, women, children. We service about 100 agencies and do about between 8,000 and 10,000 individuals a year.
Every 48 hours, a woman is killed in a domestic violence situation. Helena Kamika says Empower Web was created to help fill the gaps in services for survivors.
And part of it was agencies were like silos and they weren't speaking to each other.
Empower Web can be accessed through any computer, tablet, or smartphone. But public libraries are a special place of safety for people in domestic abuse situations.
Your abuser, whoever that may be in your home, might have access to your phone, might have all your passwords, might have control of the computer, might not let you, really have any privacy at home. So we needed to find a safe place for people to go.
Right now, the platform quickly links viewers directly with various service organizations across York region, whether you need counseling, clothing, or other support. And as Empower Web develops more partnerships, the hope is to expand beyond York region to the whole of Ontario and eventually all of Canada. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Pharmacists in Ontario are navigating a national painkiller shortage due to manufacturing disruptions and increased demand. CTV's Travis Fortnum reports.
It's a go-to painkiller. Oxycodone combines oxycodone and acetaminophen into one pill. For many people, it's what keeps their pain in check. But right now, it's getting hard to come by. Health Canada warning of a national shortage, and pharmacists like Tim Brady are feeling the pressure.
It's scary. If you've been stabilized, you have chronic pain, you found medications that are working for you, then all of a sudden you come to the pharmacy and say we have none. You don't want to go back into that situation again.
A manufacturing issue combined with rising demand has triggered a supply crunch with no full doses left. Brady's making tough calls, limiting refills, splitting doses, and trying to help as many customers as as possible with what little stock remains.
We're basically out now. We're hoping that we'll get some in again soon. You're trying to limit people to like 30-day supplies instead of 3 months, trying to make sure we can, spread it around so everybody gets some.
The warning from Health Canada came in mid-July, but pharmacists like Brady say the squeeze started weeks before that as shelves slowly emptied. At Windsor Regional Hospital, staff saw it coming too and started planning early.
We look at our stock levels, then we'll determine basically a date of when we anticipate that we're going to run out, and then we'll start working on a plan. We're going to start to restrict it to those patients and use alternatives for other patients.
Drug shortages are nothing new. Canada sees hundreds of them every year, but it is rare for such a common pill to be impacted. Experts say the global supply chain is fragile, and even a small hiccup can cause a big problem.
For one pill to end up in your vial, it probably has ingredients from multiple countries. It's gone through maybe 8, 9 different factories. And so if something along that chain happens, you start to see a domino effect.
Health Canada says it's working with manufacturers to manage the shortage, calling drug access a top priority. Supply could return in the coming weeks.
When you have a drug that what we call is a fast mover, it's a commonly used medication, you also have people who are newly starting on it, but you have some patients who are on it for a long period of time. You're faced with a scenario where you have to make tough choices.
Brady says his team is doing everything they can, but the best thing customers can do is check in early and be patient.
It's not that we're trying to deny you the medications. We're not trying to make your life difficult. It's just we can't get any.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Well, coming up, a frightening encounter on what was supposed to be a romantic hike on their anniversary. And here's a live look now through our Centennial Glass sky cam. We've lost a degree out there, 22 degrees, still very pleasant. We'll have your full forecast, a look at what you're going to wake up to when we come back in just a moment.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
Wednesday on CTV Morning Live. Is this really the best way to take a candid photo of you and your friends? We test out this viral trend on tomorrow's show.
And our local road trip week takes us to Brockville. We check out this beautiful town on the St. Lawrence.
Wake up the right way with CTV Morning Live starting at 6.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, then 3 episodes of The Big Bang Theory, The Amazing Race Canada. I'm watching this one. Who's with me? And Battle of the Generations. And here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
Carney ran on a platform of caps and not cuts. And so I'm hoping that he keeps to his promise.
The Public Service Alliance of Canada is hosting a town hall tonight to discuss the federal government's plan to cut spending by 15% over 3 years. Federal unions warn jobs are at stake.
I think Trump is Trump, and we listen to him, and then we just let one thing, what he says, go through 1 year and out the other.
Well, the U.S. ambassador once again putting Donald Trump's comments back in the spotlight over the Canada First movement. He says the president thinks Canadians are nasty for refusing to travel south and for taking American alcohol off the shelves.
I believe it's cleaned it up a bit, yes, but I'm still nervous.
1 year after Ottawa police opened a new office near the ByWard Market, some say they are seeing a difference in the popular tourist area. And a final check on the forecast now. We have another beautiful, warm, sunny day on the way for tomorrow. It's going to be very typical July weather, right near where we should be in terms of highs. You'll wake up to 14 degrees after an overnight low of 11, and we'll see that sunshine continue through the day. Just a few clouds out there. Now saying 29. We were saying 28 a little bit earlier. 33 degrees in the sunshine on Thursday, so a really hot day. It'll cool off a little into Friday with some unsettled conditions, but the weekend looking pretty good. Sunny and 28 on Saturday, 30 with a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. We want to check in to see what our team is working on for tonight. Austin is here.
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. We'll have more on Chamberfest here in Ottawa as the world's largest chamber music festival sweeps through the capital. Now until Sunday, some of the city's most beautiful and acoustically appealing churches, museums, galleries, and more, all hosting indoor and outdoor performances by internationally renowned artists. So our Sean Varden will have more on that later this evening. Of course, you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca, and join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
And Sean knows his music. He's a bit of a connoisseur of that kind of music, so he'll do a fine job with that.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Austin. And finally, for us tonight, a Calgary couple's wedding anniversary hike turned into a frightening ordeal. Can you imagine this? Coming face to face with a grizzly bear.
And so I put up both my hands, made myself as large as possible, and just roared as loudly as I could.
The couple were hiking in
Kananaskis.
Yeah, thank you.
There
Kananaskis country when they came across the grizzly, and the two admit they were not properly prepared and say they will always carry bear spray when hiking from now on. I feel really bad. I met a couple of guys from Ireland at the Red Blacks game the other night, and they're going west, and they were talking about being nervous about bears, and I made it sound like there's bears around every corner when you're out west and you can't go to the corner store without bear spray. If you're not hiking, you're usually okay.
Yeah, usually. Yeah. That is pretty scary, though. And I mean...
yeah, the grizzly is not a friendly bear.
Exactly. No, like the saying goes, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, play dead.
If it's white, good night.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, is that an actual saying, or did you just make that up?
That's what my kids tell me.
Okay.
Yeah, polar bears are really nasty, but we're okay. We're not going to run into any of those. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you can join Austin at 11:30, and we'll see you tomorrow.